Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on which I speak about astrology and the Facebook page, which you will find in the description box below. You guys, during the last video, my throat chakra was attacked heavily. This hoe next door to me keeps doing all sorts of witchcraft, black magic, sorcery attacks, particularly at night. So, unfortunately, hopefully this is not going to disturb you. As well, somehow, as I have seen the videos, the two last videos have some sort of technical problems with which I don't know how to fix. So I hope you get the message through disturbances. Anyhow, moving on, the usual caveat, there are individuals, stupid hoes, who impersonate me, and of course they attack me as well. I advise you to avoid them because they're under investigation and because they're out to do harm on me and others. Now, the topic of this video is related to addictions, and I made videos before about addictions. God is guiding me to make this video overarching the topic of addictions, broadly speaking, not one specific addiction. And the message is that anything can become an addiction. Anything, literally. And it can be, mostly addictions are a work of darkness. And this can be either entities working on you, or individuals who work with darkness on you to create addictions. Now, I guess the most important message related to this, in my mind at least, is that it's not, how to say this, it's not a coincidence why they work with addictions on you. Of course, is the usual logic whereby any addiction can be used against you. They can blackmail you, they can drain you from energy. Of course, addictions come with cravings and all sorts of biological situations where you will go into withdrawal, or you go into dependence, or you go in. So it's the usual process, which is very much well known. Is nothing new. But from energetic perspective, though, addictions give them a specific power over you. Literally, they get to harvest a specific type of energy, and that is related to power of manifestation. Yeah, because addictions literally are connected, how to say this, are connected to imagination, to fantasy, to the your brain being focused on imagining something. Yeah, imagining the sensation you get when you eat a specific food, or you drink a specific drink, or whatever drugs, whatever is your addiction. And that basically, identical, it's not only identical, it's exactly the same type of energy needed for manifesting. This is how you manifest. It's just that it's a huge difference that the process of manifesting is something healthy, because you're manifesting in a positive light. However, you can manifest negative consequences as well, but it's the same energy, and it literally is generated by the same part of your brain, both for addictions and for manifesting. Yeah. So the reason why they create addictions in the human body is for this purpose, in order to control you, to drain you of power and energy, but also in order to access, it's like an entry door. God whispers to me, it's like an entry door to your capacity of manifesting. Because if they get access to that area of your brain, they can create an attachment, a spirit attachment, or whatever they want, and they can drain that energy. Or many of them do this, particularly those working with owl, they bind themselves to that particular area of your brain so they can manifest from you, from your energy. Do you understand? So there are individuals who do this for a living. They harvest this kind of energy from you, and they make a business out of it, namely that they sell as a contract on you, basically your ability to manifest. So they literally go out and sell contracts on you. Do you want this kind of divine right from this individual? I can put an attachment on this individual, on his or her manifesting power, to receive something which anyhow that individual has divine rights to receive. Yeah, and I give you this, whatever is being promised from you. And then that individual does energy harvesting on you, on manifesting power, particularly on that topic which he sold. Yeah, so this is not by coincidence. This is not by coincidence. They use the same type of energy and the same part of the brain, which is used in stealing your manifesting. So that is stealing your manifesting power. And they can, you can actually go about your life and not even know that they are doing this, because they can easily do this during dream time, as you are asleep. Yeah, as long as they have an entry door to your manifesting power, they can work in such a way so you don't even know that they are doing it. You might not even know the person who's doing this. There are individuals who actually made a business out of it and a profession out of it. And they are very much praised and very well paid by all these convents which steal your divine rights, in order for them to have money for the convent itself, but also for the individuals, to steal your money, basically, your promotions, your businesses, your ideas, your intellectual property, everything, anything. They can steal anything. God has shown to me, for example, how they can steal your divine rights for marriage, or for love, for love relations and stuff like this, using exactly the same type of manifesting energy. Namely that, for example, they bind themselves at your energy of manifesting, which essentially, I already said this many times, is somebody's not happy for me saying this, is at the intersection between the pituitary gland and the crown chakra. That is the location in your brain where the imagination is located. And that's basically the place where, because usually when you manifest also from the pituitary gland, but also from sacral chakra. And they will use both energies at the same time. And for example, in love relations, God has shown to me, an individual will bind himself or herself to that area of your brain, yeah, and they will generate fantasies in your mind. So if you will just imagine how should the perfect person look for you, yeah, then they create that image in your mind just in order to know what exactly you're expecting. And then in your dream time, when you're asleep, they will come in your dreams wearing a mask of that image which you believe to be the perfect person. which in essence is not a person. They're just creating, and literally how God showed me, the individual who was doing this literally had a mask on his face with the image that he knew that victim was expecting her actually in that case, perfect counterpart should look like, should behave like, should speak like, should, all of this. So literally you can be dreaming of the perfect person, and while you do this they would use that in order to harvest that energy which you generate when you do that. That is a process of manifestation. That is part of the process of manifestation, and they take that energy in order to create specific outcomes with it, whatever they desire. And that includes marriage, love relations. They can use that, for example, to do glamour magic. This is the energy used for glamour magic. Yeah, is the energy of manifestation. I explained already in the video about glamour, namely that they place this idea in your head. For example, an ugly person will place an idea in your head that that person is beautiful, although he's ugly. Yeah, and if they succeed to plant this idea in your head, then they only use your manifesting power in order to project that idea upon to others. Yeah, so this type of energy has huge power of creation, of creating specific outcome in 3D reality. Now, pending of the mind power you have, they can create only with mind power tremendous outcome in good and or in bad. It doesn't have to be just one way. Yeah. So again, addictions, to put it into perspective, again, addictions are the entry point to this kind of energy, namely the manifesting energy which you hold. Yeah. And this is why they plant addictions in their victims, not only because they can control them by this. That is included as well, because of course with an addiction they will control you much easily. They will blackmail you. They will, the more they get to play that addiction on you, and the more stupid stuff you do for that addiction, the more they have leverage on you. And it's not only that they blackmail you, but they torture you mentally, because they will do levitation on you in order to make you fear that others find out, in order to make you feel ashamed, in order to make you feel unworthy, not enough, so many ways. So they can actually literally destroy you by this. Only working on your subconscious level with that fact that you have an addiction. Now, of course, getting rid of addiction is not easy, but it's a matter of self-control, and it's a matter of energy, literally. And basically, it's just a decision that you have to make and the discipline to work on it. This is literally what it boils down to. Otherwise, I deeply believe there is no human being that cannot cut off an addiction if they go about the right way in doing so. And if they actually focus on learning energy, how to work with energy and so on, and if they have enough discipline. It's all about discipline. It's not something else. It's just discipline to actually, once you made a decision, you stick with it. And there are many ways in which you can make sure that you follow what you decided. And I'm not going to give examples now, because now we don't have a topic specific that we're talking. We don't have an addiction that we're clearly discussing. But it's anything. I mean, even if you lock yourself in the house and sit in the house without having the item of your addiction, you can still make it. And you will always receive help when you cut off addictions. However, it's difficult because all addictions, but all of them, involve some sort of darkness attachment, regardless how you got it. Somebody placed it on you, or you got it upon yourself by mistake, I don't know, or by negligence, or by stupid practices that you accepted to do. It really doesn't matter in this video how you got it. The point is, any addiction you hold literally gives them access to your manifesting power. And maybe, again, you're thinking it's not big of a deal because I was not planning to manifest something at this particular time, you know, although that's hard to believe, but let's assume that even. But the problem is, once they attach themselves to that energy, that's a very hard binding that you need to cut off. That's very hard spiritual fighting and energy work that you have to do in order to cut that off. So it is extremely important that you understand the damage it has on you on so many levels. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why God wanted me to talk about this, because most of things I already said about addictions. Again, addictions can be anything. Even, for example, control and perfectionism. The need for controlling something can be an addiction, you know? And it's always going to deplete you of energy. Any kind of addiction, first of all. Second of all, I would say, and it just came to my mind, is the danger of you settling in with the idea that you cannot have full control over yourself. And this is, to me, very dangerous, I believe. And in my life, always, when I noticed I have an addiction to something, I would take some time, and at some point I will simply just cut it off. Simply just, not because it's harming me in any specific way, but just because I don't want to have an addiction. I don't want anything or anyone to control me in any way, shape, or form. This is very important. To be in control of yourself, it's extremely important. So I had this issue with cigarettes at some point, and last time I quit for 7 years, like I said in another video, and I'm planning to quit again soon. I promised God that as soon as I relocate, I will quit cigarettes. But for example, I had a very successful career in event planning and management. That is called public diplomacy. In my former career, workplace, and so on. And I was in very high demand. Everybody wanted to work with me because I was very, very good at it. And I knew I was very good at it. I had many, many proposals in terms of career. But I decided to quit that, particularly for this reason, because in order to do to produce a perfect outcome in this kind of field, then you must be to some extent a control freak. You like it or you don't like it, you have to be, because in any event there are thousands of people involved, including in the preparation phases, in the planning phases, in all the people involved in implementing the project, all the people participating in my particular field of work. You would be talking about international events, summits. In 2002, I organized the NATO summit, for example, and then you have all the NATO countries sending large delegations of very high-level officials. So you have to be control freak at this level and with this many people, because otherwise, very easily, everything gets out of control. And unfortunately, people are crazy. Everybody believes that they can have their own idea what to do, not understanding that they can create a chaos very easily by not sticking to what they're told to do or not doing it right or something. So just because of this, I was like, I need to get out of this field. And many, even to this day, if I meet many of the individuals whom I interacted with at particular times in that part of my career, they would still be asking me, can you please start doing that again? Because we never seen an event as good as the ones that you prepared and as successful and as beautiful and so. But I never went back to it because I decided it was draining me of energy. I had to take upon myself a lot of dark energy generated by stupid individuals who were not doing their job and so on. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going into details. The point is, when I decided that this is not beneficial to me anymore, that is just draining my energy and is demanding from me a type of perfectionism and control over the entire process, which was not healthy for me, was not healthy. So I decided, no, I'm gonna switch. Also, it was draining because you would encounter too many people. Just imagine, just a reception could have thousands of people attending, hundreds and thousands sometimes of people attending. Just being in the room with so many people is draining, let alone to be responsible of how the event goes. So I decided that I want to have more time for myself and I want to switch to a different part of the same profession and doing something else. Namely, I specialized in security, to be more precise, and I aimed particularly to be a desk officer, so I'll have some time to just enjoy life, basically. So what I'm saying is that you need to notice when something is taking over your life, when it's taking over your time, your attention, your energy, and your focus, and you feel like you're not balanced anymore in your energy, in your emotions, the moment when something becomes a routine, for example, that's a dangerous moment. Because if you're not capable of generating the type of creative energy when you do something, then that's a problem. Because then I don't know how to explain it otherwise. I will tell you how I feel, like you die inside. If you don't generate the creative energy in whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter to me what you're doing. If you're not capable of generating creative energy, my point, and this is what I have done all my life, leave. Just leave. Find something else to do which actually steers your interest, brings you to life again. If you feel like you're dying inside when you're doing something, that is not the right thing for you to do. Then move, find something else which brings you to life once again and gives you enthusiasm and steers your interest, your attention, intellectually, emotionally, whatever way you want, in all ways, So I really advise this, and I lived my life like this. And whenever I decided that I get to this point where basically I would feel like I cannot find my creative energy in that project, in doing that, in continuing to do that, I would just leave. Literally, if I would leave the project, I would go ask to do to cover different topics, different files, different issues. I would go abroad on a posting in another country to find something new. I would go, basically just find a different thing to do that would steer my creative energy. That to me, this is the type of energy that keeps you alive. Even if we're just talking about your job, even if I hated, and it happened often to me, that I would receive assignments which I hated, I didn't like. But then I would spend days and nights with that topic, and I would switch it on all sides possible until I find a way, a totally different way at switching things around, recreating, redesigning the project in such a way so I would resonate with it, so I can invest myself in it, so I can again generate the creative energy in bringing together the project and implementing it. Yeah, and many times with all my bosses when I worked, I would take note of what they want, and then after a period of reflection, I would present to them a concept paper, and I would say, this is how I would like this project to develop. Can we talk about it? Do you agree with me? Do you want me to change anything about my vision? But I would never just implement whatever they will say immediately, blindly, because literally, I just explained why. Because if you're not capable of generating creative energy and investing yourself into that project, you will never get an authentic creation and beautiful outcome. This is why after I left this kind of activity and I switched to security topics, I have seen in MFA individuals who literally copied my projects, which I implemented years ago in that institution, and they would just put a new label and would say it's their project. So after years, they still felt like stealing basically my intellectual property, because that was a project which I did, but they just put a different label or a different color on the logo, and they said it's their idea. So, but these were different type of individuals used with just superficial type of activity, stealing somebody else's intellectual property and work. But to me, I was just smiling when I was seeing them doing this, because I was like, do you see, like, so many years have passed, and still what I produced at that particular time in my career still is the best thing, since you were not capable to create anything that would equal my creation, or something that would be even better than my creation, because so many years have passed. Now it's a totally different time. You have different instruments. It's the technological progress which came into being. So normally you should be able to produce something better than me, because you're in a modern time. You should have more creative ideas and more inspiration, right? But this is what I'm saying. This is very important. And this is the manifesting power. This is the process of manifesting. This is the manifesting energy, the creative energy, basically, whereby you create with enough passion. And here, when I say passion, I'm not talking about any kind of sexuality or something. Passion meaning, if you want to call it love, feeling enough of yourself to put in it, basically. This is what makes a distinction between imagining and manifesting. Yeah, you manifest when you pour creative energy into your projects, and this brings you to life, basically. When you're just implementing something without creative energy, to me, basically, to me, is like you die inside, or you're not alive inside. You have nothing of yourself to give, basically. You have nothing of yourself to put into that project, so that project would resonate and resemble you. Yeah. And this is a very dangerous point. I never reached to that point, because every time when I would feel like like this, I would just, as I said, switch. I was like, okay, now I have to change. I have to find something else to do because it's clear to me that I don't resonate with this anymore. And I don't find in myself the same drive, the same creative energy, and the same interest to this. And of course, there are many reasons why you reach this point. Either that you just are just you evolved enough and you gave everything, or that field doesn't offer to you enough space to develop more, to evolve more, or you need to develop something else, you need to evolve in a different direction, or there are different kind of petty reasons. For example, people around you which make it more difficult than it should be, or you're simply not appreciated, or many times, I'll give you another example, you're not given the resources needed, or there are many other petty reasons for which you might reach the same situation. Yeah, or there are many people who actually have never been alive. There are people who are focused only on money. For them, and I have seen many colleagues of mine like this, they didn't really give a fuck. If the boss would say something stupid, go and write this on the wall, they wouldn't care. They would just do it. I would always, for example, negotiate my projects with my boss. I would say, no, I don't want to do this because, and I would explain, this is not, I can do this and this, and this is much better than this because this is not enough, or this is too much, or this is, I would negotiate my projects because I wanted them to be best, of course, to be the best I could offer, basically, the best I could see, the best I could imagine, the best I could create, literally. Yeah, so this is the manifesting energy. This is very important energy. There are individuals, as I said, superficial individuals who've never been alive, and they have never been alive because of them being superficial. Or some of them I have seen also, and I always came out of my way to help this last category. I've seen individuals who've never been alive because they never had enough confidence in themselves, and they were inhibited like this for different reasons. Either that they had an environment which did not allow them to evolve and to express themselves, or that they expressed themselves, then they were traumatized, and for many reasons, or they were just simply too young and they didn't know how to do this. This is why I actually said in another video that I did for a long time career management classes with students pro bono, because they were asking me to talk to them, and I loved doing that precisely for this reason, because I loved inspiring them in focusing on generating creative energy in whatever they would choose how to do in life. And I was trying to show them, first of all, identify what steers this creative energy in you, what is important enough and attractive enough to you, so I can explain to you how you can get there. But it's important for you to get this right, what actually can help you be alive, literally, and manifest, and so on. Yeah. So this is very important, this part of energy, in energy of manifesting, basically the creative energy of manifesting. And addictions give access to this kind of energy. Of course, addictions are just an entry door, as I said. Then it takes a skilled individual who works with darkness in order to actually harvest that energy from you. But unfortunately for us, we live at a time when there are many individuals who can do this. And this video has the purpose to tell you that there are individuals who can do this. They can harvest this kind of energy from you, binding themselves to you, and then selling contracts on your creative energy in order for them to manifest different things, or to do glamour magic, or to get away with things, or to persuade people to do whatever they want, to manipulate others, basically. And obviously that's not a good thing for you. I'm gonna stop here now. I think this is the message God wanted me to convey. I'm imagining this is useful to someone. This is very important information, but I'm not quite sure exactly who God has in mind, and for what purpose, and so on. So I would let you use the information with discernment, but I will invite you to reflect on it, because this is extremely important for you as an individual. This is also the type of energy which is being regenerated through mysticism. So the mystic prayer has particularly this ability. This is essentially cleaning the crown chakra a lot, and for this reason your creative energy is much easier manifested, so, or is easier for you to access your creative energy, I guess I can say. Yeah. So I invite you to do the mystic prayer, and you have the video here uploaded on my channel. You also can find prophetic writing on my Facebook page, which I wrote at some point in describing how you do mystic prayer. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, and if you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to ask. I will be happy to answer.